Hi there, I'm Timothy Linsdau, video producer and a Christian, putting on my science cap today over the issue of our landfills and how could waste to energy possibly fix this problem. Like and comment on my video and subscribe to support my channel if you would, that'd be terrific. Yes, in the last 4 decades, we human beings have tripled our consumption of Earth's natural resources. And that's something from the United Nations Environment Program. And according to the World Resources Institute, 1/2 of 3/4 of an annual resource inputs to industrial economies is returned to the environment as waste within just 1 year, which means we're filling up landfills, and landfills have multiple problems with pollution. And now we've discovered, as in California, the recycling program isn't working, as China has turned that back. It's costing more to run the recycling companies than the money they make. So we're running into problems here with our trash. In 2013, it was reported the U.S. produced 254 million tons of garbage. Of course, we're a huge consumer of everything because we're very successful at it. But now what do we do with the leftovers? It says about 87 million tons of this was either composted or recycled, and 33 million tons were burned for energy. And then 134 million went into landfills. I know about landfills from being around San Diego. There's some huge landfills. But over time, they're going to start to create issues of pollution into water, methane gas coming off of them. There are a number of issues that are not going to be good. There are some that are capturing methane as a fuel to use. That helps. There are some things they're trying to do to stop the leaching into water, but it's turned into a real problem. Municipal waste, consists of paper, cardboard, food, grass clippings, and all kinds of other whatnot. And there is a chance of using that in waste to energy power plants. Now, no single approach can handle all types of waste. So a hierarchy of waste management is to rank the strategies dealing with waste according to environmental impacts. And of course, up front is what we do in the very beginning. How are we going to, what products we're going to use, what they're going to be made out of, and what can we do with recycling? Can we get recycling to work well enough? Composting organic waste comes next. This is followed by combusting the post-recycled waste for energy, and then finally landfilling. And that's what I'm trying to get here, is this waste to energy system. Because the number of landfills in the U.S. has decreased, but the size of them is much bigger. And as I mentioned, they do emit methane, volatile compounds, dioxide. In the U.S., they are the 3rd largest contributor to methane emissions. Okay, so that's become an issue, as you can understand. Now, landfilling solid waste brings with it the problems described above of the pollution issue. Burning waste in waste-to-energy plants not only reduces its volume by 87%, but can also harness its embedded energy and put it to good use. Now, plants that burn waste constructed in the 70s, after the Clean Air Act came into effect, it became clear that the plants were producing dangerous mercury and dioxin emissions. Standards were established that banned uncontrolled burning of waste. During the 90s, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency established the maximum achievable control technology regulations to try to figure this out, whether it's what we can do, will it work? In 2007, the EPA compared waste to energy emissions between 90 and 2005, found it decreases it found decreases of 24% in nitrogen oxide, 88% in sulfur dioxide, 99% in dioxin. Sorry to ramble on, but it is beginning to clean up. Now, in the U.S., there are currently around 70 to 80 plants in 22 states. They process almost 100,000 tons of waste each day, capable of generating over 20,000 gigawatt hours of electricity a year. Now, Europe has been at this a while. They have over 400 such plants, and around 300 are found in other parts of the world. So, that being the case, why Europe would be ahead, they don't have as much room as we do. And maybe we've gotten lazy, we've got all this room, and then we thought, well, recycling and sending it over to China would solve all of our problems, and that's not working. So other countries are looking at this waste to energy process. Not only do we get rid of the waste properly, or in a better way, but we also are producing energy from it. That could start to take the place of our issues with fossil fuels. But probably the main difficulty with fossil fuels is still the cost of what it takes for these different things. Because fossil fuels right now are very cheap compared to most things, even burning trash. A little bit more about how these facilities work. In these mass burn facilities, all the trash is stored in large bunkers, and it's transported to a moving grate in a furnace where it's burned over 850 degrees centigrade for at least 2 seconds. That ensures complete combustion. The heat from the furnace, of course, heats the water in a boiler, creating steam that turns a turbine to drive a generator and makes electricity. Pretty basic stuff. The electricity that enters the grid, as it normally does, from power plants. In Europe, some plants combine electricity generation with a district heating system. I thought that was kind of interesting. Some of you may be familiar with cities having steam plants where the steam is piped for housing heating. And Europe apparently is using that with their waste-to-energy plants in some places. About 20% of what is left after burning is non-hazardous bottom ash. Some of it's used for cover at landfills to reduce leaching, or it is landfilled. Some of it is actually landfill. Now in Europe, it is often used in the construction energy for road building. I think it's also used for cinder blocks. So finding different ways to use what's left. There's a pretty intense scrubbing system has been developed and is being perfected to remove the particulates. Dioxins might be an issue, but the amount that they produce is quite small. So that's not as much an issue. It's a landfill fire produces far more dioxides than a waste energy plant. The burning of plastics like polyvinyl chloride produces toxic emissions. So the boilers, exhaust, flue gas must be treated with filters. Absorption, scrubbing, and other equipment before it can be released into the atmosphere. The flue gas contains fly ash consisting of particulate matter and toxic chemicals. Now the fly ash is less than 5% of the waste entering the plant. It can be treated, but it needs to be disposed of as hazardous waste. In fact, all pollutants, even if filtered or trapped, need to be disposed of in special landfills. The wastewater produced by plant is also treated before it's released. Okay, so talking a little bit more about the pollution part, the Clean Air Act sets standards for emissions of sulfur dioxide and hydrogen chloride, nitrogen oxides, and multiple other things. The Federal Resource Conservation and Recovery Act requires testing of the leftover ash to ensure that it's not hazardous and is properly disposed of. So this is being worked on quite regularly. It's been the system's been used for years and getting better. Maybe this will be an answer for us. It produces energy and gets rid of our trash. There's things to overcome is the cost, making sure that the pollution is low as possible. And so there you go. There's some more on this waste to energy subject. I think there's something to it. It's been discussed for some time. I'm going to take a little more look at that. One of the things that can be produced is what they call a synth fuel. One place that was used widely was by Germany during World War II. They made their fuel for their military out of coal. And that's the waste to energy system can create synth fuel from biomass, such as wood and agricultural leftovers. But it's expensive to do it, but they can do it. So it's always available. Well, anyway, there's a little bit more on that subject. Maybe we can, solve some of our problems with this and create more electricity. Thank you. Like and comment on my videos. Subscribe and support my channel if you would. And take a look at this technology of waste to energy. And get out there and make it a great day.